kids, it's Miss Leochner here with another Drawing with Miss Leochner. Today we're going to learn about one of the world's most famous artists, Pablo Picasso. Pablo Picasso was the father of Cubism. He comes next in our art history timeline after Van Gogh, and he bridges the gap between realistic painting and abstract painting. You'll see why when we look at some of his paintings in his own unique style called Cubism. Let's go learn about Picasso now. This is our artist for today, Pablo Picasso. He was born in Spain but lived most of his life in France. Pablo Picasso was a very experimental painter, and he had several different styles of painting through his adult life. He's most well known for what we're going to talk about today, called Cubism. Pablo Picasso became influenced by African art during his career. This is one of his first attempts at Cubism, called Girl with the Mandolin, and it was painted in 1910. As you can see, there is the shape of a girl's head there in the center with her hair, and her hand is over to the right holding the top part of the mandolin. But you can see lots of different squares and how he used values in each of the squares to create light and dark. This is called Cubism. This is another one of his Cubism paintings called Ma Jolie, meaning my girl. This one you can hardly even tell if there's a girl in there or not, but we can definitely see the cube shapes. Lots of squares, parallelograms, rectangles, and again in all kinds of different values. Now before you think that Pablo Picasso only painted in browns and grays and whites, we're going to take a look at some of his Cubism paintings that are very colorful next. This painting Pablo Picasso did is called Three Musicians. Again, we see the Cubism shapes with the squares and the rectangles. We also see that he added some triangles and a few curved lines with the music notes, the guitar, and the clarinet. He did add some color in this one, and there isn't as much value range. They're all pretty flat colors, which makes them really bold and standing out. It almost looks like a collage style, doesn't it? Where he cut pieces of paper out to lay on top of another to make a picture. This one again is called Three Musicians. This one comes from 1941, so almost about 30 years from when Picasso started his Cubism movement. This one is called Dora Maar au Chat, and it has a little tiny cat in it. Can you find it? Yep, it's up there on the left side by her shoulder. As you can see, this portrait of this lady looks nothing like a realistic portrait. Her eyes are askew on different levels. Her nose is on one side of her head and her ears on the other, and then her mouth is off to the right side. Again, Picasso was experimenting with the Cubism style and adding bright colors. We're going to use this piece today by Picasso to inspire us to make a self-portrait in this style. So grab some paper, a pencil, and whatever you have at your house to color in, whether it's markers or crayons, and come with me and we're going to make a Cubism self-portrait today. Okay, I've got my setup all ready to draw. I found a piece of paper and I'm doing portrait style. If you remember, portrait style is when we have the short ends at the bottom and the top and the long ends on the side. Remember, we also call this going vertical because our paper goes up that direction. I decided today I'm actually going to use some markers I have just because I want to recreate those bold, flat styles that were in the original painting. Now, I'm going to be doing my Cubism painting, or drawing, rather, in a certain style, but that does not mean you have to exactly copy mine. Use your imagination, be creative, think back to the examples we saw with Mr. Picasso's paintings and drawings, and think about how you want to do your self-portrait. So I'm actually going to start somewhere here in the middle, and I'm going to give myself a head shape. And remember, we don't want it very realistic looking, and we do want it to kind of have a little bit of those square shapes in it. So I'm going to take the top part of my head, and I'm going to draw a curved line at the top of my head, But then I'm going to come down here where my nose is, and I'm going to use a very angled triangle shape here. And then I'm actually going to kind of make my chin down this direction and make it very square shape and come back up. Now I'm going to draw my hair onto my head. So you might think about what your hair looks like. Do you wear a ponytail a lot of the times? Is your hair cut short and spiky? Is it long? Is it short like a bob? Do you have different funky colors in your hair? What does your hair look like? So for me, what I'm going to do for my hair is, since I have a little bit of bangs, I'm going to take a square rectangle and draw that right there like this to look like my bangs. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to draw a line to this side of the head to create one section of my hair. And then I'm going to come over here and create kind of a parallelogram shape for another part of my hair. And then I might make a great big square shape, and maybe I might divide it up a little bit to finish off the rest of my hair. Now I'm going to do my eyes, and if you remember the portrait of Dora, her eyes were not level. There was an eye here and kind of an eye down here. So we're going to try to recreate that effect to add to the cubism. And she did have rounded eyes, if you remember. So I'm going to use an upside down U shape here, and then a right side up U shape here, and then do the same thing over here, upside down U, right side U shape. And then in the center, I might just draw a circle and fill it in. Maybe I might add some eyelashes, but maybe I'll make them like little black rectangles to keep with the cubism shape. And then I kind of want to add an eyebrow in here, so I'm going to do a rectangle shape for an eyebrow. And then I really don't have any room over there, so I'm not going to add one, but I think it kind of adds to Picasso's style of drawing to just have that one eyebrow. Now I'm going to do my mouth down here. And I think what I'm going to do for my mouth is like a smile shape. But then I'm going to use triangles to make my lips like that. Now I'm going to add in my body, and this is the part where we can get really creative. It doesn't have to look exactly like a body, if you remember from the pictures we just saw. So I'm going to take a big rectangle shape here. And then I might add a longer rectangle here. And then a skinnier rectangle, like my arm shape. I might come over here, connect these to make kind of a square shape, and then add another rectangle shape for an arm. If I want to add some hands, I might create a big square shape, and then just make some rectangles for my fingers. Remember, we're not going for realistic. So if it looks funny to you, that's okay. You're probably doing it the right way if it looks funny to you. I'm going to come back in here where I made my body, and I'm going to just add a few more square shapes just because I want to have some different places to color in. With my colors, and then I might make my body go all the way down the bottom of my paper here like that. Maybe I'll add in a triangle here, something over here. Okay, I'm liking the way that this is looking. I would say it definitely looks very Cubism style. I think I might come up here and I might just take my paper and just kind of draw some lines like this. See how I drew just a diagonal line? And then in that diagonal line, I'm going to draw a horizontal line across. And then I'm going to come over here and draw a great big square shape coming down. And I'm just dividing up my background with the different cube shapes. And the secret is you kind of want to keep them a little connected. See how that line connects there? And that line there. Almost if you think to pictures maybe you might have seen of stained glass. Maybe add some variation with your squares, make them different sizes. You can make them as little as you wanted, depends on how much time you might want to spend coloring, which we all have plenty of time on our hands these days, don't we? And it'd be fun to fill it with some coloring time. Practice that level 4 craftsmanship. Remember, level 4 does not mean perfection. It just means you tried your best. So remember, in coloring, that means no white spaces. You've used interesting colors to color in your picture. And it is your best work. Doesn't mean that it's perfect, it just means that it is your best work. Okay, I think I've got my picture all finished. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to color it in. I'm going to use my markers and I'm going to use my bright colors. As you know, I'm going to speed up this part so you can watch this and then go ahead and go back and color yours in when we get all done. Okay, here is my finished self-portrait in the Cubism style. I kept my outfit in different shades of blue here, so that way it would stand out. And then I used warm colors, since my outfit was in a cool colors of blue. I used warm colors of red violet, dark red, red orange, orange, yellow, and tan to create my background. And then I added just 3 spots of blue, the same colors from the dress, just to add a little variety and create some unity together in the picture. And then of course the yellow came repeated again with my hair. So this is my Cubism self-portrait in the style of Picasso. I can't wait to see yours. As always, you can have mom or dad email them to me. You can post them on the Leochner AMP site on Facebook. And I'll be looking forward to seeing all your lovely creations. Have a great day!